Do just take my time, huh?
So you don't want the slides, Cavan?
Is this on?
No, well, I'm insulting the slides, not myself.
What am I not doing right here? Oh. Why can I not? I did.
Okay. Did she answer?
Yeah, we chatted, and
was she mad at me that I made that I had you call her sooner than later?
Yeah, she was so angry.
I know.
She was just like, how?
She's my favorite person ever.
Yeah, she was so sweet, and we chatted. I think she's trying to decide.
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I walked over here.
All right, stand by.
Sorry, there was something on the table and it's driving me crazy. I wish this thing was at home, but they were going crazy.
It's a PowerPoint, right?
Like,
Yeah.
What else were you saying?
I guess she's waiting to see if her husband gets.
I'm pretty sure it's a power.
There's more flexibility in the schedule because I think he's gonna work from home. Is that right?
Have more of an option too.
Okay, yeah.
If he quits this job, it is going to be
It's a big deal.
Maybe it is in the PowerPoint.
huge for their finances.
We'll just scroll through it. Yeah, that's fine.
Hard job. She's a sweetheart. Where is she from? She has like a slight accent.
Yeah, she's from South Africa.
Oh yeah.
So she came over here when she was a teenager, I think. And it's really funny because I laughed, and this goes back to my total naiveness. And this is way early on when we met and became good friends. And I was like, not to sound dumb, but you're from South Africa. I thought they're all black.
I understand that.
And she's like, no, that's Africa. It's South Africa. A lot of us are white.
That's awesome. I love it.
So it's fun to listen to her mom too, because her mom has a really strong accent.
That's so fun. I love it.
But none of her kids picked up.
Okay, Mike, we're gonna turn the time over to you.
Okay. I won't take a whole lot of time. I think we talked quite a bit last time about the IntraLend platform and what it is that I do here with Keller Williams and with you guys. The idea, kind of like what I was telling you guys last time, that if you guys will set yourselves up on the app and put yourselves through as a test fast track, I will give you a $5 gift card to Starbucks. And we'll go through exactly how to get that set up and what's going on with it if we can. So the idea is that if you go into the App Store, Google Store or the Apple App Store, you will find the IntraLend Agents app. It should be a green icon in the shape of a house. It says IntraLend Agents. There's one that's a consumer app. And then there's one specifically tailored to you as agents. Okay, we got it. The idea from there is that as you open it, you'll come to this screen where it says sign up, right? Go ahead and click on the sign up and it will ask you to enter in your phone number. You guys will already be registered as agents here. They will double check that, make sure they'll give you a verification code that they will text to you just to verify that you are who you are. And then you'll have access to the platform after you create username and password.
For the company name, we're just going to include the US one, right?
Yep, that'll work. 998 North, 1200 West in Orem. And the zip is 84057. I'll let you guys tell me when you're ready for me to move on. Nope, that sounds about right. Yep, you're in the right spot. Yep. They're gonna authenticate you and just double check, make sure. They want to make sure that you're registered on the system is all.
And then
okay. It may take a couple of minutes if you've hit that. So just give it time, just be patient with it, it'll happen. Is everybody else at least past the login setup? Okay, so the idea is that you can then set up your profile however you'd like. This is something that as you are fast tracking or sending in through referrals through the platform, your image, your face is going to be associated with all of that, right? It's tied to not only what your client sees, but also in what I see as I'm looking through things. That way I know who is working with who, as same with your clients, right? As they log into their portal and can see their side. When you have a chance, go ahead and set up that profile, right? And then you should land on this page, which is your dashboard. This is going to be where you're going to see all of the clients that you fast tracked, as well as any notes or anything that's going on with those clients, any updates with them, right? So for right now, you're probably going to end up seeing a blank page other than these icons here up at the top, right? The big one is I'll have you get into the My Lenders portion of it. And we'll set you up with the preferred lenders that are already shown on the IntroLend platform, right? So if you click on My Lenders, what you'll want to see is my beautiful face associated with the IntroLend Westfield group as a finance manager. I don't know if you're seeing that or can see that. They'll authenticate you and get back with you. Yeah, sorry.
it's okay. Well, I mean, you're going, so I'm just looking at everybody else.
Let's see. I can bring up mine and I can show mine if we needed to. Okay, so on.
And did you just sign up to it?
Yep.
So that's what I'm wondering. I don't.
They'll just authenticate you and come back to you. They onboarding. Watch out for you. They'll look at you. Yep. So done in My Lenders, right?
You may have downloaded the.
Did you download?
Well, the one that I says at agents. Sorry. Oops.
Yep, that's the right one. Yep.
But I'm wondering if I use a different email that isn't showing.
Okay, so as you land on the lenders page, right, I'll let you see that you're able to select the IntroLend Finance Manager from the different locations that we've got set up. We are in 4 market centers. The one in Daybreak, and then we just picked up the one in, right? So as you look, my contact information is under that. The one I'm selected as the West. That way everything comes through me, right? And you've got the association with me as we're going through it. From there, you can select up to how many preferred lenders that you want. We've got associations with First Colony, Security National, Intercap, There's 30 plus loan officers that are showing on our platform right now, and we are onboarding all the time. So if you've got lenders that you've worked with or would like to introduce to the platform, just let me know. You can put them through yourself if you're not finding them in the app, and through the onboarding process that we have with your. Did that all make sense? Does that kind of get you somewhat set up as far as that goes? Now, the idea and the way that you get the $5 gift card from me is by sending through a fast track. So if you go back to that same dashboard, you will find that fast track button at the very bottom of the screen. And we'll just have you do a fast track of yourselves, right? So it'll ask for contact to access your contacts. It doesn't import anything. It just takes them directly from your contact portion of your phone, and we'll grab email address, phone numbers, and name. That's really all I need in order to be able to receive a referral from you guys, right? As you go through, it'll allow you to leave a note in it to me, which you'll just put in test, right? So what happens as you choose a fast track, right? It asks for your contact information. If I keep going, right, you'll then also be able to choose what kind of loan you're trying to refer them over to, whether it be for a home purchase or if you work with people who are just needing help with a refinance. They're in a position where they want to try and refinance something, right? You can send both kind of transactions through the platform. From there, it allows you to be able to select the lenders off of your list or of anybody who is already assigned and already onboarded with the platform, right? As you go from there, it will then send out an email to the people that you're working with, right? So in this case, you're going to end up receiving an email. It's kind of got a generic template that it'll send over to you guys. You can modify that template. It doesn't have to be exactly this same verbiage that you send out to them. So if you want to change up that verbiage, you're more than welcome to, right? Same with the text message that ends up going out with the link. If you want to customize that to the people that you're working with, go right ahead, right? And then you've successfully put somebody through, right? Now, the idea behind it is, like I said, that'll immediately contact me or give me notice on anybody that you've sent through, right? I will typically give them a couple of minutes just so they don't feel totally bombarded by what's going on and what's happening, right? Otherwise, if I call them within, a couple of minutes of you sending it through, you may still be in front of them asking, what am I doing, right? So I'll typically give them a couple of minutes before I start reaching out to them. I do also have a concierge team that works alongside with me, and they'll sometimes reach out before I have the chance to. They call from a 1-800 number. So do let your clients know that they'll probably end up receiving a couple of phone calls. The idea behind it is the concierge team basically just wants to make sure that they did get the link sent over to them, that they were able to have access to it, could log in, figure things out, and get things started, right? That's all my concierge team is really trying to do for us, is make sure that they're following up on that stuff. From there, the idea is that I will follow up on the application, just make sure that they were able to fill in everything. If there were any fill in the blanks that I need to kind of make sure get done, I'll do that with them. And also make sure that we can get their supporting documents. So like pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, whatever's needed for the type of loan program that they're looking for, right? It's one of those things that I can move as quick as your clients will move. So if they'll do everything and get everything over to me, I can usually turn things around within about a day or so of them turning stuff in, which is awesome, right? And usually after that, I can even be out shopping on these loans, right? So I can reach out to the preferred lenders that you've selected. If you want me to provide a quote, I can do that as well and make sure that we've all got that going. In the meantime, while we're getting all of that, kind of like I said last time, you'll have a pre-approval letter. You'll be able to go out shopping with them and be able to start putting offers in on homes The hope would be that we can get them associated or in line with whichever lender they'd like to go with. Hopefully before you're even under contract, I can typically move that fast. Sometimes you guys move way quicker than I can, right? And it totally depends on your client and what's going on with them. If they'll work with me, I can move pretty quick, right? Again, like I said, the idea is to hopefully provide an experience to your clients that allows them to not only feel like you've been taking care of them and not only trying to provide, multiple avenues in which they can get financing in place, right? But then centralizes it a little bit to where the people that you're working with and who they're shopping with and what's going on, right? That way it's not just some ABC lender down the street that we have no idea about or have never worked with before, right? Don't know what they're capable of doing or not doing, right? With the people on the platform, they are vetted. They are people that have been in the industry for a while, right? And so if there's any questions as to who's on the platform or any of the lenders that are out there, let me know. If there's questions about loan products, there's some products that are available to some lenders, some products that are not available to others, right? Not everybody has access to the same stuff. So if there's questions about specific financing, let me know. I've got the contacts with these different lenders and the relationships with them in that I can ask them and kind of get the details of those with whatever we're trying to do for your clients, okay? Was everybody able to fast track themselves or? I got Cade, Joe, Cash, and then I think it was just a couple that need to just get verified, right?
The ones that like
Cash. Okay. Yep, absolutely. Let me know. Here, let me write down my contact information so that you've got it. But as soon as you fast track yourself, I'm happy to give you a gift card. Wow, that's dead. Can you read that?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mike saved my life here before.
It was a rough one.
Yeah.
We made it.
Stopped me from eating really high calorie cupcakes that they were serving in the mess hall. So yeah, he tackled me. Hello. I think I remember all your names, but we're gonna pretend anyway. I've got Cash, Cade, Julie, Catherine, and it was Joe. Joe, how long you been in real estate? Almost 2 years. Are you a transplant to Keller Williams or? Sick. Well, welcome. Good to see you. I have like some kind of migraine action going on, so I'm not going to do as many cartwheels during this class. I'll still do some cartwheeling, just not as much as you might expect. We're also I'm just totally divorced the slides, so we're going to leave Mike's stuff up there, and you can look at it. We did it. Okay. So we're going to talk about capturing leads using social media, but first I just want to check in on everybody's prospecting. We still do the 10x4. Do you call it the 10x4? The 10 notes, 10 contacts, 10 houses for whatever the other thing was. Database ads? What is it? How's it going, guys? Does anyone have any concerns, fears? Are you doing your prospecting every day? And if not, can we talk about why not? This is not to be judgmental, but it's to help you make $1 million.
Busy.
Good. Okay. Wait, was that good busy or bad busy?
Well, it's a good busy, but not in business busy. It's mom busy.
I mean, if you say it's good busy, it's good busy. You're the final arbiter of what good busy means.
But,
So
like for instance, yesterday I was on a with my kindergartner, and after that I was at my hearing test, and after that I was at the dentist with my daughter, and then, yeah, it just goes on.
Zoom people, I know back on. Can you hear me? Oh, did
Yes.
we? Oh no, Becca said. Is important for this. Okay, cool. So does anyone want to help us with prospecting? Then let's move. Okay, so for social media. Start there. I think this is kind of powerful. First of all, what social media are we familiar with? Are we on, like, so let's just go by one. Tell me what social media regularity. Facebook. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm more IG than Twitter.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Facebook. I mean, I have an Instagram account, but I only use that to memories. So I can go and make another account.
Okay. But if I don't, you need to do what makes you comfortable. Joe, what do you use? Okay, so
Cavan, please repeat what everyone is saying.
oh, so far everyone has said Facebook. Did you, fam? On the what? Heck yeah. Joe, if you want to be heard, come over here. Cade, yell something.
Hello.
Did you hear Cade? I'm talking to the camera.
I did hear Cade. Thank you.
Okay, cool. We've
So just scream.
conveniently put on the front of three of them. Joe, you're gonna have to don't it, or I'll repeat what you say. We'll figure it out. Okay. So Facebook is where I'm primarily active too. And what I want to say about social media and me and my resume is most of my leads have come via or massaged by Facebook. I think I'm good at this. I don't think I'm doing it at the highest possible level. And I've recently things that I think are going to help me hit at sort of a master level. And so I'll tell you what I have been doing that I know works and what I'm planning on doing heading forward that I think will go better, but I can't vouch for, if that makes sense. I'm going to fall over and die. That'll make this probably the most interesting night session. Okay, so 10. Has everyone gotten this information?
Yeah. Oh,
Then, no?
we're good. No.
Okay. Mike's a good guy. I like Mike. I'm a Mike liker. Do you guys know what the algorithm is? When people talk about the Facebook algorithm, do you know what they're talking about? Okay, so a lot of what we do today is going to be interacting with the algorithm. Facebook, you probably have 4-digit. That is a lot. It's very unlikely that you see content posted by all of those friends every time. Facebook is all the time. It has an AI that is making decisions about what to share. Facebook's goal is to keep all Facebook users using Facebook as long as possible. And so it has a really sophisticated algorithm largely, I don't want to say it's secret, but it is immensely complicated and it is not open source. That's one of the things that Elon Musk was talking about when he joined Twitter, is he wanted to make the algorithm open source, which for, I think, the layperson means you're going to get spammed all the time. But for those of us who want to know how it works, that's amazing. Also, make Twitter a nightmare of, but I think it's not actually going to compete that. We'll see. So everything.
Can you manipulate the algorithm on Facebook?
That's literally what we are talking about.
Okay.
So anyone who tells you they know the algorithm, understands the algorithm, is lying, or they are so far out of their depth that they don't understand that they're lying. So I can't tell you how to seize the algorithm, but I do know stuff that what marketers say about the algorithm is heavily studied. And boy, the marketer who can actually write the algorithm, that dude's going to win. So I've one, the first most basic way to engage in the algorithm. It's 10 reactions. By the way, I said Facebook, all of the social media does this. Twitter does it, IG does it. All of social media needs to make decisions about what content do I show to this user. And so they all use an algorithm. So that's, but I'm just using Facebook as my example because that's what we're all fluent in. 5 comments. And then 1 original post. Okay, so as part of your prospecting, this should start, this should become part of your daily routine. So a reaction is a like, a laugh, an angry, a cry, whatever. So there was.
This is what you want from your.
This is what you self should be doing. Okay. And so there was an article that came out recently. I don't know. But it makes sense. They found that reactions up to the like weight much higher than like. So one of the reasons to the master is that we know like counts 1 point and counts 5. So if you put an Facebook post, Facebook that much more heavily like that, it's extrapolate that the other react are also more heavily weighted than like, because like is terrible. Either long press or you had to hover to do it. So with your reactions, I endorse don't use like, use any of the others that are appropriate. Hello, welcome. Oh, come on, no, wait. No, I've forgotten, you have to tell me your name. Tyler. All right, welcome back, Tyler. So we're talking about social media, how to get leads through social media. I'm fighting an awesome migraine, so when I die, Catherine's gonna teach the rest of the class. But I think it'll go great. I think she'll do a good job. Yeah. Okay, so every day you should be scrolling through your feed and you should react at least to 10 things. If you have you tiered your database? Like do you have a top 50 or A level contacts or whatever? So I think it's worth your time to hunt down and react to those people's posts if they're active on Facebook. Like that would be a good week of social media prospecting where you prioritize the people who you know. I'm going to take a quick side here. I'm speaking from personal experience. Facebook and social media make you or break. If you're on Facebook 3 hours a day, just checking on crap, you're sabotaging yourself. And so what I have to do, I have this problem. I did a thing where it's like, I'm not going to log into Facebook for a week. It was hard, guys. I'm an addict. Like I was like, no, I had to like delete it off my phone. I was only done.
Scrolling is sometimes a stress reliever because you're thinking about other people's stuff instead of what's going on in your life.
You know what else is a stress reliever? Heroin. So I might not be describing you. I know there are people who have great contempt for Facebook and get off it as fast as they can. You're going to be the most powerful social media users if I'm describing you. If you can get on, do your thing, and depart, leave Facebook behind and do the things, you're going to be so much stronger than if you doom scroll. Believe me, I've been in both chairs. So it is very intentional about social media use because it can kill your productivity pretty fast. Boom. All right. You're going to make 5 comments on friends' posts. So we're reacting to 10 things friends have written. We're making 5 comments. Now, here's the other thing Facebook looks at is things. But if you comment on your post and they react to your comment, Facebook goes, these two like interacting with each other. And so ideally, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I coughed directly in my mic. You're welcome, and whoever else. Zach and me. I'm sorry, everyone. What you should be going for with these and with your is your target is you want them to comment back. And we'll talk about how to do that because comments are weighted very high. That means that Facebook looks at it and goes, these two literally like talking to each other. Which is ironically, when you get a fight with someone on Facebook, and you all have, Facebook start showing each other's content more often. It's like these guys love talking to each other. So start fights on Facebook. That's the lesson, everyone.
So this is kind of a stupid question, but so say there's people that I want to get more business involved with. So would I almost technically kind of target them with my comments?
Yes. More business involved with, you're talking about people you sell houses to, right?
Right.
Yeah. So those are the people you target with your comments. Did you hear that question? Becca, did you hear this question?
I literally was looking over there realizing, oh, you're talking to them.
Now I'm making eye contact with everyone on Zoom. Okay, so the question was, should you target people that you want to answer? Yes. Okay. I think I'm sorry. COVID. I had that function with him, and I don't think I was ever close to 75 to him. But well, I'm here. I'm sorry.
You warned.
Okay, so I'll talk about the 80-20 principle, and then we're going to talk about like specifically what kind of content we put on social media. Yeah.
Is that like just like once a week you should do 10 reactions?
Once a day.
Once a day? Okay.
Because another thing, and we're not really going to hit this very much, but Facebook and all social media responsible to frequency. And so there is a diminishing returns thing in terms of your career, but if you posted to Facebook every 2 hours, it's going to say this person, we got to keep this person on Facebook. And so it's going to push your posts farther and more people will see them. I don't think it's a good idea to post something to Facebook every 2 hours. But Facebook loves frequency.
Okay, so I have a business page and I have my personal page. So
we're going to talk about the 80-20. Probably going to answer this question.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, bring that question back.
Kevin, I am super good at jumping ahead. So just
I'm proud of you.
Just wait.
The problem with Julie Everett, she's a genius.
No.
Okay.
Ask my children, they'll say no.
Normally when you hear that, it's talking about 20% of your work and 80% of your results. And that's great. That's not actually what we're talking about here. It just happens to line up with one other psychological that's pretty awesome. Is 80% of your content should not be about real estate. At most, it's offhand reference to real estate. 80% of content is about you. And so if you're me, it's about Star Wars, it's about Dungeons and Dragons, it's about being a fat guy. And then 20% should be about real estate. I need my podium or I was going to die there.
Can you give an example of when you say off reference to real estate?
I was at the brokerage and I was arguing with a guy about Star Wars, and he thinks Luke Skywalker's a nerd, and I think he's a nerd.
So
And
just a subtle reference.
It's a blink. I was at the brokerage. Yeah. So you're in. So you guys know how to unfollow people on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
For everyone who knows how to unfollow people on Facebook, have you unfollowed people who endlessly post about essential oils, real estate, their business? Yeah, we all have. Like, I've unfollowed so many MLM sellers on my feed. And so if every post you make is, I just love helping people find their dream homes, then you're going to be unfollowed real quick by every red-blooded person. The MLM people, the other sales probably follow you, kind of supportive of each other, but not me. Screw them, screw you. I've probably unfollowed you. So there's one thing you walk away from here. I want you to make sure you're abiding the 80-20 or you're going to get unfollowed by everyone. Okay. I think you can take care of this yourselves, but let's talk about this. Do you all post regularly to Facebook and your social media? Okay. Do you want help knowing what to post about when you're not talking about real estate? Okay.
No, mostly like sports, big in sports. Yeah.
Don't
No, he sold
Cloaks?
cloaks, but not
Cloaks.
costly.
No, clothes.
clothes, just clothes.
Yeah.
I thought you said close too.
No.
I thought he said clothes.
Yeah.
No. Clothes.
This is why you need to be on Facebook, because we would know this.
Yeah. Right. But no, sports are big.
That's too bad. I don't think there's anyone in the United States who cares about sports.
No, it's hard to find people.
Yeah, it's rough.
What about stories versus actual?
Oh yeah, so stories is one of the ways in which I'm trying to level up my media presence right now. I never used them before. I did use video pretty extensively, and we'll jump into that a little bit later. But my understanding of stories, which is shallow level at best, is that it does, like Facebook weighs them very heavily. And so one thing they do. Oh, well, I mean, I feel like you just answered your own question then. Is it story with?
But then I click on their feed. My feed doesn't have much. I only do stories. Yeah. So I think
Unfortunately, this is not. Stories are sort of a new thing in my arsenal.
On Instagram, if you make a business account, you can actually put your stories on your feed, so that it's like just a little bubble where it stores them on there. So, yeah, exactly. So that would be a smart thing to do.
Home projects. This is Lee through Zoom. People love posting on their Facebook their renovations on their house, what they have done, what they are proud of. And that directly correlates in our business. And so you give them praise. You ask them, did they use a contractor? What are their plans after their renovations are done?
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Is I didn't talk about social media's intelligence gathering, but it's actually wonderful for that. Home reno is a good one. And then people tend to announce things like pregnancies and even deaths on Facebook. And divorces, I find there's often a big lag period on divorce. So it's not the greatest intel gatherer. Be a human being. So when people are having babies or someone has died or someone has gotten a divorce, there is a good chance there's a real estate transaction in that person's near future. Be a friggin' human when you approach them. Congratulate them on the baby. Console them on the divorce or the death, and then shut the heck up. They know you're a realtor. You've been doing your job right. They know you're. I had on the Salt Lake City subreddit. There's some about here. I don't know how to do it. They have a system that automatically finds when I something not how it works. And the automated text from Bob that says, "Hey, I'm so sorry about your divorce. If you have a real estate need in your near future, give us a call." These guys get blasted on Reddit all the time because this is the most expensive text I've ever received. So if you want to make sure they don't do business with you, modify that interaction. But they just had a baby. They might be buying a house soon. So make sure you're in there saying, "Congratulations, the baby. I love you." And then shut up. And let the background radiation of your real estate presence take it from there. I'm so sorry for definitely happening in this microphone.
Hey, this is Zach here from the Zoom. We can't really hear a lot of what you're saying. I think it's pretty choppy. The microphone's kind of cutting out a ton. So we couldn't hear your cough anyway.
Ask him if he can hear us when we comment.
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, it's quiet because there's no microphone, but we can hear you.
Oh yeah, I can hear myself. That's way better. Is this way better for you, Zach? Is that a no?
Way better, sorry.
Okay. Okay, then we'll talk in the handheld, that's fine. Oh, and then when I cough, hey. Okay, and then, okay, we're gonna talk about specific content, but there's some general guidelines I wanna run into. When you're doing your 80-20, try to avoid backhandedly talking about real estate. This is a trap I see a lot of people walk into with friggin' essential oils, where they're like, "I just made spaghetti using basil oil and it only cost 100 times as much as basil and it tasted like basil." So I don't know, maybe that was their one post a week, but so what I would call it is authenticity. Be actually yourself. And then a word that Jimmy Rex used in his class about social media that I loved was vulnerability. If you have drafted up a Facebook post about a fight you had with a family member, or mental health is a really vogue topic to cover right now, and you're a little scared to hit post, that's probably a really good post. So only you can decide where the line is between oversharing and being vulnerable, but people respond so well to humanity on social media because it is so rare. Everyone's trying to be quippy, everyone's trying to be funny, everyone is angry all the time. It is so rare for someone to actually put their own vulnerable soul on display. And so to whatever level you are comfortable doing that, I encourage you to do that. Because that's where you're going to get the big numbers of engagement. Okay, so let's talk about specific ideas. Most of mine were written down about business posts, but yeah, talk to me, Ju. Oh, well, I'm going to hand you the mic.
So you guys said the stories, and I've been trying to think, okay, I hate the stories. I don't like to put myself on there. I don't like to hear my voice on there. And then somebody said on Zoom, the home projects. And I thought, okay, I can maybe work with this, because me going into real estate, me having my hands on the MLS has been very dangerous for my husband, because now I want a bigger house and he says no. And so I am trying to make things in my house work better. I'm finding new ways to organize and to revamp my house. This is a great way for me to incorporate not my real estate, but my real estate with my home projects on my stories because I hate doing stories. It's a good way to do a video because you're not just posting a video because stories are videos. You know what I mean? And so you said specifics and I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to do house projects. Like I just did one. It's little and small, but it totally made life easier and looks nicer. So putting my own house projects on my stories. There you go.
The other thing with stories is there's not really a floor on quality of content on stories. The main thing is Facebook will show your stories to people. They will click on it. And Facebook does pay attention to their watch time. But the fact that they clicked on it, Facebook went, ooh, they clicked on this. They're interested. And so I don't know if there's a good way to show it to you. My story yesterday, as I was sitting in my chair, I was planning to do red day, but then instead I was sitting at home feeling miserable with whatever apparently I might still have. And I handed you the mic. Sorry, Julie. That's a goner. You're dead. Thank you, Governor Cox.
Wait, I had COVID.
I'm going to feel so bad if it's COVID. If it's COVID, I will buy each of you a cupcake. I really don't think it's COVID though, because I had COVID about 2 months ago. So, but if it's COVID, you can all come claim a cupcake from me, obviously after a 2-week period. Wait, I was very distracted. Oh yeah, so I was sitting in my chair and I was like, oh, I need to post a story. And I have a bunch of Star Wars miniatures because that's my personality. That's my entire personality. And so I just did a video where I ran across them and I like Star Wars. And that thing got like 40 views or something. It got a stupid number of views, far more than that level of effort warranted. Watch, we checked, it's like 6. That's still more than it deserved. But yes. If you're having trouble posting at all, I guess my advice is to post anything. Post about your interest, whatever you're thinking about right now. What I try to do, and actually let's talk about this right now. Have a reserve of Facebook posts because you actually do kind of want to spread them out a little bit. Because I find, at least for me, I'll have like 3 really good post ideas all at once. And if you just go bam, 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 that's actually less effective than if you'd spread them out over a couple days or a couple hours, whatever your frequency is. So I think it's a good idea to open a Google Doc with yourself and literally write word for word when you have an idea for a post. Write it down. Then when you need a post and you don't have one, jump in that doc, grab it, post it.
I went on Google the other day
Mm-hmm.
and I looked up real estate memes and I saved a crap load of real estate memes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And then I went and made a photo album on my phone and I went and added them all there. So when I'm not knowing something funny to post, I can go into my memes to see which mood I'm in and grab a real estate meme and be funny with it.
That's such a good idea. I'm going to steal that. That's a really good idea. I'm checking right now if real estate memes is a subreddit. Because the real estate subreddit is neat, but no memes. It's all business. Real estate meme, 169 members. Forget that. There are a lot of real estate pages that'll post memes all the time. That is such a good idea. I love that idea.
Google and then just do the images. I mean, it was cool.
Yeah. Because the other thing I want you to do is, I'm sorry that I can't tell you more how to post about your own interests, except say just start doing it. And you're going to quickly train yourself into what works and what doesn't. And what your goal is engagement, right? You want comments, you want reactions, you want, no, those are the 2 things.
Your stories go on the same you're gonna say the wrong word, timeline, because that's not the word that I mean.
Stories do not go on your timeline.
I know they don't. That's why I said it's the wrong word, but I mean, one original post a day, okay, as like a Facebook post.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But how many stories does it matter for like algorithms? Like,
So
I don't know, but probably the answer is more is better.
I want to answer it. Let me answer it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the more is better because every time you post a new one, it puts you to the front of the feed of the 3 that are showing. So the more you post, but you can watch and see when people jump out of your stories. So if you're posting things that are not interesting, that's also a negative.
You can see if somebody jumps out of it.
On like analytics?
You have like 5 different stories all linked together.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first 3 are like high users.
And then they don't finish the last one.
Oh.
And that's on Instagram, not on Facebook. But if you post from Instagram to Facebook, then you can see the analytics because it does that.
I'm going to start doing that. I've been posting straight through Facebook.
Right. So when I post on Instagram, it goes straight. I have it set to go straight up to Facebook as well. So if I do a story on Instagram, I can also link that. So it will also post the story on Facebook.
Yes, that should be in your user settings. I believe it does need to be a business page to do that.
Which is fine.
Yeah, you just swap it over and then it should be able to link up like that. That might not be true, but when I had my marketing coach 6 months ago, that was true. So, oh my gosh, a year ago? Oh no. 6 months just disappeared, guys. 18 months ago. It was actually a long time ago. Okay, but what I want you to start doing, and I don't know how to do this on stories or if it is possible, but I do know how to do it with just your other posts that go in your timeline, including videos, is track your metrics. And so especially if you're just coming to the game new, just post something. Be like, I was sewing a Nigerian twist or whatever, some clothing making thing, and see how many people respond to it, how many likes, how many comments. And if you get nothing, you're like, okay, this is probably dead. If you're me, you're stubborn and you keep posting about Dungeons and Dragons anyway, because I have like 3 guys in my feed who really like it. But that way, just stick and move. Like, okay, that didn't work. Let's try something new. Oh, look at this crazy shirt I made. And find different ways to express yourself, but watch what your results are and move and pivot with those results. So I can tell you from my own experience, this pulls numbers. And so if I make a post like, had a great day, woo, that'll get like 10 responses or whatever. But then if I post, as someone who lives with depression, I have long dealt with the idea that I hate myself, and that'll get 100 responses. And be vulnerable, be yourself, because people are starving for human connection right now. And that's what social media can do at a higher and more efficient level than pretty much anything else. I can feel my throat closing. I'd say, actually, if you could bring me some more, I'm almost done with this cup. Just bring me a backup cup. Nobody should touch this cup. just pure whiskey, please. Okay. I got way off topic. So let's talk about your business posts. Now let's talk about the 20%. Oh, actually, there is one more point I want to make. And that is another great post is make one that's easy to respond to. I personally hate these posts, but I can't argue with the numbers. So you've seen these scammy pages that are like, your Jedi name is the last thing you ate and the number of friends you have or whatever. Or let autocorrect finish this sentence. I hate these posts. And never to post on those, right? Because they're trying to harvest your information. Cool. Good job, everyone. And even if you post on there saying, no, this is trying to harvest your information, that still actually bumps their cloud up. So just ignore them. Just scroll by those. But then use that weapon yourselves, because people, for whatever idiotic reason, love responding to those posts. And so you're like, I can't, like, your cat name is the color of the object next to you and the texture of your bed sheets or whatever. And people respond to that crap. And if that's you, do it and get the numbers that I refuse to get. be willing to go where I'm not willing to go. But on a more generic level, make your posts easy to respond to. And so if, Cash, tell me your hobby.
My hobby?
Yeah, I remember you were a car salesman. That's what I've forgotten. Everything but that.
Yeah, outdoors, anything outdoors.
All right.
I typically, because we just had a baby in February, like ever since then, all of my posts have been about family and date nights and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay.
And people love to comment about babies. So
oh my goodness. Yeah. No, babies are a super weapon on social media, as are animals. Commodify everything in your life, guys. You're not humans anymore. You are selling machines. Okay. So I want to use hiking as an example. But you're right. Babies, man, babies are a nuclear bomb. Thank you so much, Molly. Hey, I got a new pair of hiking shoes by Adidas. I don't know. What are hiking shoes you've had a good experience with? Or what do you think of my shoes? That one's going to get less response because it's about you and you want to try and make it about them. But make your posts easy to respond to and people will respond and Facebook will go, people love commenting on this guy's posts. Let's show them more of this guy's posts. Okay, we'll jump into business. One of the mantras that I think should be going through your head at all times while prospecting or marketing in any way is come from contribution. You need to improve other people by their interaction with you, and everything in your life will go better if that is your core belief, your core principle, and it will make people less likely to unfollow you on social media. In my case, the way I do this is by making my business post pretty informative. And so I'll say, hey, the real estate market is doing this. Here's my video, blah, 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 blah. And then people got to feel smart. And my market videos have actually been remarkably effective in that I get an average of 1 lead per video, where someone reached out to me and is like, hey, I was noticing your videos and my wife and I are looking to buy a condo, doo-dee-doo. It's always buyers. That's the curse of my life. Buyers. Buyers are a lot of fun. And mostly I do buyers. That's why I call them the curse of my life. I don't think a video. I think that went up a couple days ago. Maybe I'm remembering wrong. No, it definitely wasn't yesterday because yesterday I was on my deathbed. I typically do them from my home office, which has Star Wars and D&D stuff behind me. And that's actually fairly intentional on my part because I brand myself as your nerdy realtor friend. Oh, is that where you wanted me to go with that? What I meant is I always film in the green room, guys. I've thought about it, but right now the D&D books are the aesthetic I'm going for. Oh my goodness, that water is mana. Okay, I'm gonna lift. So one thing Keller Williams recommended in the slides for this class were that you do public service updates. I think that's a fascinating idea. I don't 100% know what they mean by that, but like if you hear about a grand opening of a restaurant, that could be a fun thing to post about. This is less a business post and more just a contribution post. Or, geez, I'm having trouble. Like if you know about local events, does anyone, I'm genuinely lost on this one. Does anyone have ideas on how you can be more like a public service updater? Because I want to know what Keller Williams meant. And that's true, although that's right. Posting about Red Day, I would argue, is not actually coming from contribution. It's kind of bragging, which is fine. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but the person looking at the post about Red Day doesn't have their life enriched by that, if that makes sense. I feel like I just bagged on Red Day, and that's really not what I was going for. Red Day is awesome, and what we do with Red Day is awesome, but you want to be careful how you post about Red Day, because look, I'm helping children. I'm so righteous. I don't know. They drive me crazy. Maybe I'm a cynical old coot. That was me painting, by the way. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Believe me, I did.
I think you're a great one.
Jimmy Rex does that, and he gets 1,000 times my engagement. So maybe I'm wrong.
Cavan, can you hear me?
Did someone just say my name from heaven?
I did.
Becca, yell into the mic, and we
Okay.
shall hear you.
I will yell into the mic. I'm at home, so I don't know where it is. I was gonna say community. Oh, turning up volume.
Becca, I'm sorry, but a bat has attached itself to your mic and it is muffling your voice. So I need you to exterminate that bat and then go again.
Okay, is that better?
Somewhat. Go for it.
Somewhat. Okay, I'll talk loud. Community stuff can be what's going on in the community. So if there's a race going on, you can be like, hey, there's a race. Don't drive that direction. You'll hate yourself. Especially like if people are new to the area and they don't know about the parade routes, stuff like that. Local expert, but valuable to people.
Yeah. Oh, and that's actually, that raised another one is you can follow Provo City, Orem City, Lehigh, wherever your service areas are, you can follow those city governments and they'll post about stuff like that. And then share those posts. Just, you don't need to, you're not a genius on their stuff, but they are. Well, but you can share their stuff. What I would recommend though, is make sure you always share it with a comment like, heads up everyone about the marathon, or I hate marathons, but if you love them, go. I mean, anyone looking at me knows that I'm not a marathon runner, but make sure you do add some kind of comment because that sticks your picture and your name there as well, as opposed to just a little note that said Cash shared this item. But no, that's a great idea. And also follow city governments. Oh, this is my empty one. That's my empty. All right, we're going to open it so I remember. Teacher was drinking really heavily during class, guys. Okay, there's something I have really mixed feelings about. And so I want you guys to go try it and see what happens and then come back and tell me. Because I did it early in my career. I did giveaways where I'd ask a stupid trivia question, be like, I could even be real estate, be like, what did I do? What did I do? How many houses do you think are on the market right now in Utah County or whatever? I'll give you a hint. It's a number between 1 and 1,000 billion. Actually, it is a number between 1 and 1,000 if you do the county. And then the winner gets a $10 gift card to Starbucks. I don't think there's a risk of Ignite students doing this. I would not make it a $2,000 gift card because then we venture outside the realm of looking like a human being. Normal people don't give away $2,000 on a lark. So when you have a team name like Red Sign is giving away $2,000 to whoever answers trivia, that makes more sense because everyone identifies them as a real estate team, whereas you're trying to look like a human right now. We'll graduate you beyond your humanity later in the Ignite course. Even with like the $10 gift card, I have mixed feelings about it because that's not how humans behave on social media. But people do like getting free stuff. And so proceed with caution, try it, see what happens. But really you're just trying to get people to engage with your post. And so if you put up a giveaway, like I'm going to give $10 to whoever can do this thing, answer this question or, solve this riddle. And it gets you a bunch of engagement, keep doing it. If it gets you no engagement, stop. You're out $10. Or if no one responded, you're out nothing. So that's my mixed feeling thing. I don't have mixed feelings about these other things.
So can I give a plug for giving away crap? Do I have to talk really loud?
I heard negative plug for giving away crap.
No, it's a positive.
Oh yeah, give us your plug.
When I was brand new, I did this for my business page. And I got one of those families that shares with everyone in the family. So it was really obnoxious because one of their family members won and I didn't know any of them. Well, one of the sons ended up following my page on Facebook for 5 years, went to a builder, signed me up as his agent, and then called me after the fact. And like, by the way, you're my agent to sell this house and buy. So I'd say it was worth the $25.
There it is. So do it. Actually, that's a good point. My lender sends out an email every Monday where it's like, answer this pathetically easy question, be entered in a drawing to win a $20 gift card. My sister said she really liked that. And that's my sister. So she told me the truth. Yeah, Julie.
Like, this was weeks ago and I was trying to figure out how to promote myself, but so I had this idea of what if I did $100 gift card for the first 5 people to sign and close a transaction with me. And I went and posted on this real estate group saying, hey, I'm new. I'm trying to, find ways to help promote, convince people to come sign up with me. And there was a comment on there that really bugged me because obviously he doesn't know me. And he goes, if people don't trust you, they're not going to sign up with you. And I'm like, I get that, but I'm also brand new. People don't know that I'm doing this. So I was trying to offer a fun incentive. And then somebody was like, $100. And I'm like, so.
Yeah. So the question is, if I offered a $100 incentive to close a deal with me, the objections to that were people won't sign with you, they don't trust you, and $100 is nothing. Is that a fair summary of the question? Yeah. Okay.
That sounds like.
And the first comment is.
You're right, they won't.
But he may have been saying it in a nice way.
I actually partially agree with both objections, and I want to elucidate what I mean. First, he's correct, as you understand. If someone doesn't trust you, $100 is not going to make them trust you. So that's setting that aside. Who cares?
Worried about that because they're not going to say
yeah,
if they don't trust me.
Exactly. Yeah. So that audience is dead to you anyway. There are ways to fix that, but that's beyond the scope of today's lesson. The $100 thing, it's a good idea, and your thoughts are in the right place. I think there are better ways to approach it. So instead of close with me, get $100, I would consider 2 different directions you go. Close with me this summer, and the appraisal's on me, or the inspection's on me. That way you're taking an ambiguous cost and you're attaching an ambiguous sales price to it, because everyone knows that $100 is nothing next to the price of a house. Not everyone understands that appraisal is nothing next to the price of a house. And so you attach it to, like, ambiguous price gets ambiguous discount is what I would do. Or we go a completely different direction. And this, I think, might actually fit your personality better. Close with me this summer, and I will buy you dinner for 2 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
Cavan, you can't do that. It's against code.
Wait, what's against code?
You can't incentivize someone to work with you. You have to give them the gift after, but before you can't say that.
I thought that was for referrals, not self-referral.
That's the other thing. I'm also trying to be compliant.
Let me check on that, because I actually think Becca's off base on this one. But let's check. Oh, but Becca's a broker. I was gonna say, let's check with a broker, and we just did. You can't incentivize self-referral?
You can give them stuff, but you can't market that you are. So once upon a time, someone said, hire me, I'll give you a $200 TV, and they got fined.
Okay, never mind, don't do it.
Okay, see that was the other thing, is I wanted to know where my boundaries are, because I obviously want to be compliant.
Yeah, no, that's news to me too. Okay. Becca just saved all our lives. Pull us back in the raft. And let's check with Dean later.
Part of my business, all my listings I go into that section, and up to a certain point, I exceed certain things. A lot of times I do it for free. It's like this thing with buyers, like I help them line up contractors or possibly do some of the work. So that's my show that my marketing. A lot of my posts are like, oh, we're helping my buyers finish their basement. Or
that's awesome.
Going in, pre-inspection, fixing this
So, okay, you're making my brain spin. I like this. So, Becca, comment on this too. So, I'm a photographer. Okay?
Becca, homie advertises that the buyer agent gives you back $5,000 of their commission. Aha, checkmate.
No, they say they'll give you money back. They don't give you the dollar amount. I'm sure they've figured.
Oh,
the
so it's
loophole
just
in
a stated amount. Interesting. So maybe you can still comp the inspection or appraisal?
It's a good question, because for my sellers, I pay for cleaners and I can market that. So I wonder what the difference is.
Let's
I'm
find
asking
out.
Dean right now.
Okay.
It
I
sounds
sent
like
Dean a
there's definitely
text.
some nuance to be explored here, and it's a good idea. So
So something that, okay, so I'm a photographer, okay?
Yeah.
I take pictures of people. Okay, I can't make a house smile, but I am definitely
okay.
Obviously plan on doing my own photos.
Mhm.
Okay. So that could also be something that I market, free professional photos with your listing. Even though
I think everyone should offer that, but you should market that as well. Yeah.
Okay, and that's what I was gonna ask. I don't also know what the normal is.
I guess it's possible some listing agents make their seller pay for photos, but I certainly never do. Although you can still market it. I mean, because if you say that, it kind of implies that other agents don't do that. So.
Oh, which is true. But at the same time, you look at some of the houses on the market, and I sit there and go,
Oh yeah, where like it's obvious the owner went through with an iPhone.
I literally.
Yeah. I'm gonna pivot just a little bit from here, but you're right, and I think it's a good idea. And clearly, let's talk to Dean, find out where the line is on that, and what we can market, baby. We talked about come from contribution. We talked about what I call bribery. Okay. The other thing is with expertise and market reports. This is something I think I'm really good at. So listen to me. Have we at this point learned how to do CMAs and market analysis? We learned that from Becca, right? I pointed at the camera. That's where Becca is. She's inside the camera. Don't worry about CMAs for now, although those are an awesome thing to market. Let's talk about market stats, because you guys do know how to do those. So once a month, I do a market report focused on Utah County and one focused on Salt Lake County. And those are my money makers. I'm dabbing for you. So you know how to look up number of active, number of under contract, like how to calculate inventory. What are you comfortable with messing around the MLS? Like you would know how to tell me how many new builds are on the market right now versus standing properties. Okay. Spend some time in the MLS, find data that is interesting to you. If you don't know what to do, I'd recommend just number of active, number of under contract, number sold in the last 30 days, and then track those numbers. And then if you see articles about real estate, which is hot in the news right now, you all get Realtor Magazine. Just anytime you can generate something of interest or even take something boring and make it sound interesting.
Utah County's median sales are higher than Salt Lake County.
Exactly. Yeah. Again? Because I think Salt Lake overtook them again. Now I'm going to go check my numbers because now I have to know the answer. I think Salt Lake's in the lead again, but it's far closer than it historically has been. And Utah did overtake for a bit and maybe has again. I'm not actually trying to say you're wrong. But people respond to local expertise. And so one thing that I've fantasized about doing, but haven't pulled the trigger on yet, is the Draper market is doing this, or the Tree Streets in Provo are doing this. Because what's happening in Utah, awesome. What's happening in the nation, great. But people want to know what it means to them. And most people, the average person, doesn't care about most of real estate stats. Like they'll hear on the news like, oh, the real estate market is slowing down. They're like, okay, whatever that means, the real estate market is slowing down. And so if you can, in their eyes, become an expert, then they're going to trust you when it's time to make a transaction. And then you can withdraw the offer of $100 because you'd go to jail and get flogged and then set on fire. But I'm a huge fan of doing this, where you just generate market stats and at least once a month, put up a video where you talk about the stats and what they mean. And guys, you're going to make money off those videos. Money, money, money. Also selling houses. When people comment on your own posts, comment back or react back. Because again, Facebook looks at how much you interact with each other. And so if you get on there and you're like, the Dallas Cowboys are good. See that? I know sports. And they're like, no, the Dallas Cowboys are bad. And then you respond, well, their quarterback has thrown 40 touchdowns. And they say, well, and whatever. And the Facebook's like, these guys are talking to each other. Great. Don't, try to avoid actually fighting with people, but respond back, react back, because then Facebook goes, these who like each other, let's show more of each other's content, and make sure, especially if someone's in your A quality or B quality contacts. And if you get ratioed, it's fine. So if you're like, the Cowboys are great, and they're like, no, I prefer the San Francisco 49ers, and then more people like that person's comment, who cares? You're still generating clout. Okay, what we're gonna do. Oh, and the last thing, there's another Keller Williams idea. I've been doing this, but I never thought of it as building my business, but now retroactively, I'm saying I was doing it to build my business. Join communities on Facebook, join communities on any social media network you can, and be a value adder in those communities. Local communities, even better. And so there is like a Utah Dungeons and Dragons group that I'm a member of. And if you just raise your clout in that group, that actually you become a value adder, and then people are going to talk to you, and it can lead things. Ideally, you want to somehow transition that to real estate, but wherever, join communities, be in them, and add value to them, because then you're growing your network. Because someone in that community might say, hey, does anyone know a realtor? And you're like, well, we already have a good existing relationship because we talked about rogues, elven rogues. That is something I can talk competently about. So when I use that, like, I'm making fun of it voice, it's actually nonsense, because I know everything about elven rogues, guys. We're going to do some now. We're going to write some social media posts now. That's going to be our action item for today. And then I swear I'll get you guys out of here on time. First of all, I have presented this in a very scatterbrained and weird way. I coughed my way halfway through it. Do you guys have any questions or clarifications or ideas? Hit me with all you got. Tell me why I'm going to jail if you're Becca.
Hey, Zach here on Zoom. I have a question for you. I don't know if I missed it, if you guys talked about kind of going over, having multiple accounts, right? Because some of us have a business Facebook, some of us have a regular Facebook, and what that looks like with the 80-20% of posting and things like that. What do you have insight on that, or did you share that?
Yeah, so business accounts, what makes them powerful is that they have greater access to advertising than personal accounts. And so if you actually want to run ads, which I endorse as soon as you can afford it, I endorse running ads for just like $1 a day. So we've all used Command. Okay, Command actually has a shockingly well integrated advertising structure. And so unless you really want to get into nitty gritty, and that could be an entire class next to this class of advertising, just make your ad so it's for your listing, or if you really want to be extra, do one for yourself. And if you want to do that, come talk to me, because that's a complicated topic. But then feed it into Command, and Command will actually optimize that ad pretty darn well. Because you want to do it well. Whereas if you put a video on your Facebook page and you're and ahhing your way through some market stats, nobody cares, you're a person. If you do that on an ad, it's gonna look terrible. So with ads, you wanna be scripted, you wanna be deliberate, you wanna know exactly what you're doing, and you wanna do it very quickly. And so ads have to be hyper efficient.
like when we were doing like our private adoption and stuff, it was like, because we can advertise ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and so we would always do it, but it was just pictures. I never did a video.
Oh, does it work?
Yeah, I mean, it does.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't get contacted,
Hmm.
you know, but we also didn't keep it up very long because we were still also doing the foster care route.
So there is, I'm gonna touch this really quick.
I've never seen a video. Well, no, let me
Yeah.
let me use that. I never see video adoption ads.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know anything about the adoption market, so I can't speak to that as much.
So
but
in my head, it was just photos. So that's why you're also talking about videos. And I was like, what?
yeah, fair enough. So I'm gonna touch on this really quickly, and then we're just gonna jump off of advertising.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But it's a really big topic. But the short version is, if you don't know what you're doing, throw an ad through Command, and Command will actually do a really good job with it. Command's integrations with Facebook are top tier. Make offer for immediate return, or for immediate response, excuse me. So what you're trying to do with an ad is you want the person to click on it so you capture their information. And what they need to feel is, if I click on this, something good will happen instantly. With realtors, that often means CMA. But frankly, CMA ads, I haven't seen them perform super well. But you have to find a way, not like plant the idea that you're a good person in their head. Photo ads can help with that. But if you are running the ads, you want them to click on it so you can grab their information and you have that person in your database now. That's the free sample of the advertising course that someone else will teach at some other time. Cool.
Can I go back to posting on business page versus personal?
Oh, yeah. So the power of the business page is it can post ads. Other than that, they are borderline irrelevant. The number of people who like your business page, if you want to like try and go viral with your business page, Godspeed, maybe you'll be able to pull it off. But your personal page is so much more powerful because you are solo agents who are trying to market to people who know and like you. Your business page is much more powerful if you want to go to complete strangers. And so unless you're deliberately placing ads on Facebook, your business page, it is a decorative item. But if you do want to put ads on Facebook, then you need a business page. Like Facebook makes you have a business page to post ads. But other than that, leverage your personal page.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was thinking. I don't want to bombard my personal page with my business page. I mean, I
you definitely shouldn't.
My personal with the business aspect, but you
the 80-20, yeah.
The 80-20 thing.
Yeah.
So okay.
And sorry, go ahead.
The reason why FYI that I'm not integrating my personal Instagram and business is because my personal is very locked down. I'm a foster mom. I have different reasons, but the business page I can still turn into a fun one with public photos that I am willing to post. Mm-hmm. Whereas my personal with fosters, I cannot do.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you won't be able to convince me to integrate for privacy.
No, of course, and I don't want to.
So, yeah. Anyways.
Well, and that's if anyone else is in a similar situation. Go ahead, Cash.
The best business pages that I've seen specifically for realtors is they still follow the same thing. 80 of it's personal, 20% of it's business. I mean, there are pages that I follow, or people that I followed on my Facebook that I'm like, oh wait, this is actually a business page. There you go. Okay. So maybe if you're super locked down on one, make your other one feel like public, personal.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, yeah, I can do that because I have no problem posting my kids that I've adopted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on that or talking about them on there because they're mine. I don't have any more worries. They're mine.
Yeah.
You know, and so I do like that. But I also was thinking about I kind of want to turn that personal one into the business one into a fun family house project
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do.
Where
So I don't care how many social media accounts you have. If you want one where all you do is post about hyper violent anime, great. But one of your accounts should be doing this. What you do with your other accounts, I don't care. Those are your toys. Do whatever you want with them. Or maybe you'll find clients in the hyper violent anime community, but I don't know that that's where I would dip my fishing lure. Cool. This was very scatterbrained, and I apologize for that. But what I'd like to do for our action item today is I'd like each of us to pull up a Google Doc or whatever, and we're going to write, if we can, 5, so the next 5 business days of social media posts. So 4 of those should be about yourself, about whatever, and 1 of them should be about real estate. And you will find that those lines blur just a little bit, and that's okay. Like, you don't need to be hyper rule about it. The main thing is you need to come off as a human. You know how humans plan their social media posts a week in advance? That's human.
I've always wanted to, and I just.
But even, who here already posts every day to social media? Okay, so the people who did not raise their hand, if we even get you to post 1 post today, I'm going to call it a win. Those of us who post every day or kind of post every day, whatever your frequency is now, if you're posting multiple times a day, that's fine. Keep going. Other than that, I want to increase your frequency just a little bit. My goal is to push us all a little bit higher level performance than whatever we're doing until a bit before this class. Before we jump into that, I need you to all give me evaluations because I'm trying to become a certified instructor. If it has a question, did he encourage you to break the law at some point? You're welcome to do maybe in the drop down.
I got the official answer from Dean. I was wrong. Because it's for your client, it's okay.
Everyone be sure to give Becca an evaluation and put tried her best in the drop down.
So because it's your client, it's okay?
Yeah, so what you cannot do is offer money for, or anything of monetary value for referrals. So if I say, for every referral you give me, I'll give you $200, that's breaking the law. Because according to the state of Utah, I just made you practice real estate, even though you're unlicensed. I mean, you are licensed, but you know what I mean. And so.
But as long as it's to my client, because once the transaction is closed, like, I mean, not. Well, no, because you don't have to wait. Okay, I want to wait till the transaction is closed. You don't have to.
Oh, but you absolutely should. For the.
Right.
Yeah. You're right.
Okay, so I can use an amount if I want to.
Yes, for the buyer themselves. Yeah, and then, so I go back to the advice I gave earlier. Offer to comp there, I would do the inspection because it's a lot cheaper than the appraisal.
How much are they?
$300 to $400 on most mid-range ramblers. And then, actually, sorry, ask your inspector. That's what my inspector charges. I use Mike Stevens. He's a brilliant genius. I don't know who your inspector is. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say, Cavan, you're gonna buy with me, and
yeah.
We go and find this house, and I pay for the inspection, and something happens, and the sale falls through. Then you go and find another home.
Yeah, you comp the inspection out of the closing.
So I'm just saying, like.
Oh, do you pay for 2 inspections?
Yeah, because now I've already paid for 1.
Have that conversation with your inspector. No, well, because like my inspector gives a discount on the second inspection if that happens.
Oh, okay.
That's also, I can't read your mind, but I suspect that's less of a threat than you think it is. Of course that happens. I don't think it happens as often as you might be worried about. So whatever you do, Julie.
That.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I don't want to have to pay for,
yeah, like
inspections or.
No, I get that. So what you do, let's say that, yeah, you've talked to your inspector, you've learned what it would cost and you don't want to do it. Just make sure it's very clear at the beginning. So you say to them, Okay, so when you get your first inspection, you're going to pay for it. I will cover it in closing. Should you decide to leave, I don't cover the second inspection. I'm just gracing you the first one. Just make it very clear, because the last thing you want is the client expecting you to pay for their second inspection and you don't, because that is worth, it is worth far more than $400 to prevent that experience. So, all right, if you could go all give me evaluations. I'm trying to get a certified instructorship, which is, I'm not a certified instructor. So you'll notice I'm not on the list when it gives you the drop down. This was, actually, I don't know what Ignite session this was, 9? 8? So it's Ignite session 8. I'm not on the list, so you'll have to type in my name, which is this. And if you've already given me an eval, please give me another one. I need to harvest them. And I think my skill level was noticeably different this time than last time, because I am barely staying alive up here. And I'm going to be silent for exactly 3 minutes. And then we're going to write posts together. Becca, you have to give me a perfect evaluation. That is our corrupt arrangement. She might be taking care of her family or something, or giving me a perfectly flawed evaluation.
I have never done one for you. I'm sorry.
No time like the present.
Can I ask a question regarding social media again?
Let me have my last 2.5 minutes of silence, and then I would love to jump into it. If you want me, I think I have all your phone numbers. Tyler, did you text me? What's your last name? Oh yeah, you're in here. I will text you. I think I'm gonna go home and take the COVID test just to be safe. And if it comes out positive, I will text all of you very apologetically and then bring you cupcakes as soon as it's safe to do so. Joe, if you want that text, then we need to trade numbers. Okay, I don't think I have it, and I've stayed pretty far away from all of you. I did approach Julie once to give her the mic. Sorry, you can have 2 cupcakes. Catherine, you too, you're sort of in the blast zone. I'll just get a dozen cupcakes, and how you guys split them up, we can sort of assess your risk levels. Okay, since I started jib-jabbing anyway, let's hear your question, Cash.
Value of pictures on posts.
Oh, yes. Value of pictures is high. That is actually another thing that I should have. Well, no, I don't need to write this down. Facebook loves video. And so if you can get video on posts, that's top tier. Otherwise, get a picture on there. If you can't get a picture on there, don't. But yeah, we know that the algorithm loves video, likes pictures, and it's complicated with text posts. Huh? See how that was a Facebook reference? That was pretty good. I'm a comedian by night. I'm gonna just practice my type 5 with you guys now. Facebook. I'm gonna go home after this. And if you never see me again, it's because I died. But at least I drank like half a gallon of water in this class. Okay.
What's the effectiveness if what's so the photo when you're in the photo versus not in the photo?
Facebook doesn't care as far as I know. Facebook does know how to tell. Yeah. Oh, in terms of like branding, I think you should occasionally be in the photo, but so like influencers, the people who are really good at this are always in their own photos. I don't know. what the connection between those two things is. I do know that social media knows if there's a person in the photo and usually knows if it's you. I don't know if Facebook cares about that. In terms of like your clients, I'm not sure. Cash and Joe, you're the ones who raised your hands on daily social media usage. Do you guys use stories?
Yeah, I do. I mostly use stories.
Okay, so I set a goal earlier this week that I was going to post a story every day on Facebook. Do you guys want to jump in that goal with me?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, welcome aboard, Julie. Sorry, anyone is. You're all. I just want to push anyone to slightly higher social media usage than what you do now.
Because I only posted 4 pictures for my tablets. So I'm not a poster. So now I'm trying to break that habit.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Yeah, whatever pushes you closer to intentionality and using Facebook at a high level for your business. Or I should say social media. Because another way you could improve your social media usage is you could jump onto another network like Twitter or whatever.
So, Joe, I'd like to get your opinion on this, but I feel like stories is a place that you can post multiple times a day without it being annoying. Like if you go through and you make like 4 or 5 individual Facebook like big posts, people are probably gonna start thinking you're annoying, it's too much. But it's not super uncommon to have 4 or 5 stories throughout a 24-hour period.
Yeah.
You know, I see people that have, 15 lined up. It's like you just swipe. And I just ended up swiping through it.
And guys, we're not going to be hot forever. Gotta leverage this while we got it.
But even if you just swipe through it, though, I don't think that ever happened a lot of times.
That's actually a good point. Because the only stories that have annoyed me have been ones that it would have annoyed me as a post anyway. Where it's like, I'm in Norway. Be sure to chase your dreams. I hate those posts. I have very strong opinions about almost every social media post in case that hasn't come out yet. So here's a hot tip. When you're preaching, preach it yourself. Be like, I've learned that my productivity is better when I get up. Because that sounds better to me than your productivity will improve when you wake up early. I friggin' hate the genre of influencer. It's always a hot 20-something. And they're like, you won't know your limits until you chase your dreams. And it's them in a field of flowers or whatever. I hate that genre of post so passionately. But it pulls numbers. So if that's who you are, Tyler, let's get you in a field of flowers, buddy. Although that was more of like a feminine version of that genre. With dudes, I feel like they're at the gym and they've got their muscles like tearing their shirt and they're like, I have no tolerance for weakness. Ugh. Is everyone writing social media posts? Am I distracting you too much?
No, I'm getting down the names that I wanted to figure out what to write with.
Awesome.
So.
Julie, I'm proud of you. You're going to go places in this industry. Does anyone want to workshop any ideas? Because we have a group here and you're going to put it out in public anyway. Like people are going to see it. So you may as well. Cool. My non-posters on the back row. Cade, do you need any help? You feel you have direction?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's really just a matter of, starting.
Absolutely.
I've just been blank for a while. I mean, I have followers and friends and whatnot. It's just active in posting, but I've been active in,
yeah.
Like participating in liking and commenting and everything like that. So.
Do I follow you? Actually, I'd like to follow all of you because then if you have a really good idea, I'm going to steal it. Oh, and do that, by the way. Steal like crazy. Cash, I know we follow each other. Cade with a K or a C?
With a K. Cade Anderson.
Now, when stealing, do you just like screenshot it and make it your own? Like exactly theirs? Or do you just share it pure from the
Both of those are okay ideas. What I like to do is I spend a lot of time on Reddit. arguably too much time. But I follow the real estate subreddit and people raise questions. And I love to take that and then port it to my Facebook where it's like, so these two guys argue about how big a down payment should be or whatever. And I have an opinion about it. It's like, that's a post. Boom, throw it on Facebook. Julie.
Sorry, this is totally not even in reference to this because
we're in the closing phase here.
What's an LO?
LO, loan officer?
Okay, there we go.
Kate Anderson, we have one mutual friend. You in a blue jacket and what looks like a woman in a red jacket? Is that you? Okay. You have to friend me. That's you saw my name. I'm the only Cavan helps on earth, by the way. I check periodically. There's no one else with my first and last name.
Wait, are you going on Facebook?
Yeah. Oh, you're not on Facebook?
I am, but it's like very inactive.
Okay. You can find me on IG. I'm gonna put the initiative on you guys. Everyone please follow me or send me a friend invite and I'll accept it. Perfect. I'm on the verge of passing out here. Where's the best napping place in the office?
You feel you presented yourself very well.
I didn't do any voices or even a single cartwheel.
Like you had a good attitude and you're still not complete. You've done well for it. You really don't feel that bad.
Perfect. Shoot, I had something so smart to say about social media. Is that a comment?
I have a question.
It hit me.
So I love the idea of coming from a place of contribution.
Yeah.
On your 80% that's your personal stuff, what's some ideas on coming from?
Oh my gosh, guys, this is when I unlocked it. This is when I managed. And if you look at my recent Facebook, it's actually been pretty bad because I've been very lazy about this. Everyone on Facebook wants to feel righteous. And you can leverage this like crazy. If you look at my high performing posts, they are all this. So if you take, okay, chances are a good number of your friends are in one of the two huge political factions, right? And so if you can find a way to weave this, you know what they find righteous, you know what they respond to. If you can find a way to touch on that without pissing off the other faction too much, you're going to hit Facebook gold. Probably everything has been so divisive lately in the news. Okay, so let me hit on this. I'm a South African immigrant. I'm a first generation immigrant. My parents came here when I was 2. I don't have a South African accent, but I say things like missionary. Although here's a confession. This is my first time confessing as a public. That was a conscious choice I made in college because I was like, I want to reassociate with my South African identity. And so I picked some like low impact things that I can mess with my accent. So that's why I say missionary. I do say it naturally now, but it took training. So I really feel like we bonded here. Ooh, actually, that wouldn't be a bad Facebook post. I'm going to post about that on Facebook. And so there was, I don't remember, some kerfuffle about immigration. And a few, not many, but a few of my friends said things that I would deem racist. And then a large number of my friends said, stick with me, guys. Racism is bad. And they said that. And it's like, wow, the bravery of that stance. And so I made a post about, I am an immigrant. Please remember when you're saying mean things about immigrants, that I am an immigrant. And if you would kindly, after your opinion about immigrants, just say Cavan, so that I know you're talking about me. That post pulled numbers. I got over 100 responses, like comments on it. It got a massive response because I had the vast majority of my friends were like, yeah, racism's bad. And then a small number of my friends are like, well, we're talking about illegal immigrants, not you. It's like, whatever, you're increasing my clout. I don't care what you were talking about. My South African family and friends all reached out to me like, could we share this post? We loved this post. And that pulled numbers. And so that was one of my highest performing posts. And it's because it gave people a chance to feel righteous. You don't have to do anything. You just have to agree with me and you are righteous. I know the way I'm describing this makes it sound evil. And I think it's a borderline evil behavior, but it pulls numbers. The results cannot be argued with. And look, you're anti-racism, right? Who can fight that? And so it's not always easy, and people will start fights with you over it, and it's going to make you sad. But if you can make people feel good about engaging with your post. I did one about my dog dying. Like, it was like 2 years later, and I wrote a thing about how sad I was my dog was dead. And I got into it, and it was true. Everything I said was true. Like, the stuff on the South African post, I wasn't lying or misrepresenting myself. I was just sort of, hey, you want to feel righteous? Jump on the South African immigrant train. And then with my dead dog, it was another one where it's like, oh, I'm so sad about my dead dog. This sounds really sociopathic, the way I'm presenting this right now. I'm genuinely sad that my dog died. That's not a misrepresentation. But it pulls numbers because it's emotional, it's vulnerable, it makes you available. And then people can feel righteous because they get to comfort you, the guy with the dead dog. And so give people an opportunity to feel good about their engagement with you. And that's where you're really going to hit numbers. I'm sorry that I presented that in such a psychopathic way, but that is how my brain works. Catherine. Religious posts are awesome. Peter does, yeah. And that's the religious posts that I see work fall into two genres. The ones I hate and the ones I like. The ones I hate are, I'm going to run with Christianity. I don't know what religion you are, but we're going to run with Christianity here. Obviously, LDS is a big religion in this place, but you can actually leverage that either way. But you're like, God is good, the sun is shining, praise Jesus. You put a picture of a tree. That gets engagement. I don't want to say I actually do hate those posts. I think they're fine, but I don't find them interesting. They don't typically grab me. Peter Morkel does posts that I love, where if you are willing to be vulnerable enough to put stuff you actually believe, and I'm saying if you believe in Jesus, I'm a Jesus follower myself, and that's great. Do it, but like, trying to think how to thread this, not violate anything right here. There is an aspect of my church's history that I find troublesome. And if I'm willing to talk honestly about it, what will inevitably happen is religion, just like politics, there's going to be people who disagree with you fervently, and they will make sure you know it, and it will hurt. But you can be like, well, I've been struggling with this idea from my church's past, and this is how I deal with it. Like that sort of vulnerability, that humanity, people are starving for that, and they will respond to it. And then what you can do is make it easy to respond to. It's like, well, have you also thought about this? What did you think about it? Give them a place to sweep in, be righteous, and respond. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I was trying to like make it like, is this true teaching? More like, is it okay? Those two things, like your business.
Oh, well, I'd be careful about mixing them. Yeah. Yeah, so the more open and vulnerable you can be on your page, the more people are going to like it. So when you do put out your business post and say, Jesus told you to buy your house with me, I guarantee someone has used that, probably in Utah. But no, so when you do your business post, you've spent your 80% generating so much clout. Facebook's like, oh, people love Catherine's posts. And so then we're like, hey, I'm doing an open house on Saturday. Facebook's like, people love her post. We're going to send it to all those people. Now, here's the thing I suspect but cannot prove. I think Facebook does know what you're talking about in your posts. And so unless you put up a thing saying Facebook doesn't have my permission to use my information, that thing that works. But if you forgot to do that, guys, then Facebook has. Yeah, no, I love those. Ooh, I'm gonna post about one of those too. I need to write these down. Shoot, what was the thing I said that would be a good post?
I don't know, but you made me think of one. Hey, your mom called and told me that you wanted to sell your house. Now you help me.
Something to do with South Africanness, yeah. Oh, South African, yeah. South African, like idiom. Yeah, okay. And what were we just talking about 1 minute ago? I think I'm having a stroke.
Post on my real estate post on my personal page, should I make the same post on my business page or vice versa? Or they should always be different?
I don't think they have to be different. Oh, so the page that you're protecting the privacy of. No, okay. Oh.
My personal page when I'm on friends with all my friends, and
Yeah.
my business Facebook page.
One thing you can do, and this is what I do, is when I put videos up, I put them on my business page and share them from my personal page. I am certain this makes them take a hit from Facebook because Facebook wants you to pay them money to advertise those posts. They don't want to give you free advertising on your personal page.
So wait, post it on your business page and then share it to your.
Yeah, that way your business posts are getting to your business audience, all 3 of them or whatever. But then they also hit your personal audience. I might be shooting myself in the foot by doing that. So I'm warning you, I don't think that's actually optimal, but it's what I'm doing because I do use advertising. And it was Facebook privacy posts. That was the other one. Okay, I'm so sorry. Did everyone get at least one post written, or with you guys, more than one post written? Nice, excellent. Does anyone need help? Is everyone feeling good? Do you know what your next social media play is? Cool. I was going to talk about prospecting, but my head's exploding and we only have 4 minutes. So one last round of questions, and then I'm going to go just die, just like a cat in the street. I like to make sure that everyone knows what they're going to do for prospecting, because probably one of the biggest struggles I had here is people said, make your calls. And I didn't know what that meant. Do you know what your next prospecting session is going to look like? And do you want help with it?
No, but start. Yeah, I just been.
Can you give me like the 3-sentence summary of your 2 years in real estate? Are you coming back, or have you been practicing the whole time?
Yeah, full time summers ago.
Awesome.
Quit my job and kind of started in the construction field again.
Yeah.
And real estate. So now I'm like balancing those 2 things. Working a lot. Tons of hours, not coming into the office as much.
Sure. Yeah. What did we talk about last time? I know we talked about offering CMAs. Oh my goodness, my head is so foggy. Okay.
I'm just not making my calls. Still like sending some emails, text, and like that. Just
yeah. So obviously, calls are the highest form of communication, but one rule that I stole from Peter Merkel is prospecting that you will do is better than prospecting that you won't do. And so if you're genuinely too uncomfortable to call people at work, especially calling millennials during work hours, often feels like a fool's errand to me. I don't want to say it doesn't work, because often it does just fine. But a lot of them don't pick up the phone during business hours. And so I think texting millennials, I don't want to say it's as good as calling, but it's still pretty good, because that's how we talk. In terms of topic, are you comfortable with CMAs? Have you done CMAs? Okay. So a project I'm working on right now is I'm going through, wait, I want one more question. Have you tiered your database? Like, do you have your top 50 or whatever?
Kind of, I tag them all differently.
Okay.
I look them up separately.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it is worth your time to spend some time every day tiering your database. Be like, these are my A's. These are people who like you, trust you, and want you to be successful pretty much no matter what. That's probably your friends and family. Your B's are people who would probably work with you, but you need to make sure that you're staying in their top of mind. And C's are unknowns. And I guess you could argue D's are people who would never work with you, like other realtors.
I want to grow my, I have a good database, but I want to reach out and grow more.
Oh, okay.
So I can put more people and move people down.
Yeah. Social media is an okay way to do that, because you can tend to get people outside your database to comment on your stuff if you get a little reach on it. Open houses are a pretty good way to grow your database. And I don't love it, but door knocking, I'm bad at door knocking, so I'm not the person you should ask, but I know agents who have had a lot of luck through door knocking. and like circle prospecting, which is where you take a recent sale or an under contract or whatever, and you contact the people around it. And it doesn't.
I meet people new every day doing my contracting work.
Do you have a 36 touch? Do you know what a 36 touch is?
I do. I have some set up on.
Okay, you and everyone else open your calendar and go to Wednesday the 18th. And if you have anything between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m., erase it, unless it is the 36 touch class. It's being taught by Brady, and I'm confident he's going to teach it at a very high level. And then what's Wednesday, May 18th.
Nobody knows who Brady is. BT dub.
Brady is the best person on earth. Okay, moving on. Because what you want to do with these contacts is you want to get them on your 36 touch. And the script Peter Morkel uses that you should modify to sound less Peter Morkel-y is, would it offend you if I sent you my monthly newsletter, my monthly email newsletter? And in most cases, they'll be like, no, that's fine. Or if they say yes, then don't do that. Don't send it to them. But that way, that's extremely powerful because the machine runs itself at that point. And so that changes your goal when adding people to your database to add them to your database. Like you can ask them for business right there if you want, but the important thing is capture their information so that when they're doing a transaction, you're top of mind. I feel like I drifted from the topic. Did that help at all?
That's it. We were talking about prospecting. So.
Okay. And then I would definitely spend some time every day actually contacting some of the people in your database. And what I've been doing is with homeowners, so initially I was contacting people saying, hey, home prices rose 27% on average in Utah over the last year. Do you want to see what your home is worth right now? And then I send CMAs to those people. Of those CMAs, I have a 1 in 4 leads to a really good real estate conversation. Very powerful. I would consider even sending it unsolicited, where you do a CMA for them, send it, hey, I've been practicing market analyses, or I'm doing analyses in your area, whatever is correct and whatever you're doing. And I noticed your home is worth this. Do you want to talk about it? So you can try either of those, but CMAs are really powerful right now because I don't think homeowners understand how much their homes have appreciated in the last year or even the last 2 years. Any other questions about prospecting? Yeah. Cash.
The whole making your calls thing, just
sure.
I don't know. I have right now like 100 or 105 people in my database. That's it. And I've been doing because I just became full time. So I've been calling, talking about, hey, this is what I'm doing. Just so you know, and then using the Ford script, right?
Yeah.
Just a quick little plug, like, oh, I'm agent now, and that's it. And doing that, but very soon there's going to come a point where that call is no longer any important. So, what does it mean to make your calls right?
Once you've done all your calls.
Yeah.
Excellent question. And that's, so at that point, so they should be hearing from you once a quarter at least. Once a month, it's probably okay. But even that's 3 calls a day. So your next post should be increasing the size of your database. I do not pretend to be a master level agent at doing this because I've lived here my whole life. I have a pretty sizable database. And so that's something, it's been okay growing it organically. However, as I said with Joe, like I've seen agents who door knock at a high level who have managed to make that work. If you want to talk to someone about it, Colby Kerr is really good at it. Colby Kerr, he's upstairs, he wanders around, he's got tattoos, he's an anime nerd. And that's his whole personality. Yeah, that's Colby Kerr. Then specifically with that circle prospecting, it doesn't have to even be your listing. You can just look up all the info on a listing and say, hey, your neighborhood. Yeah. Oh, yes, you should absolutely door knock for that one. Yeah. I'm so smart in my brain, and it just left, it melted out.
Yeah, I struggle with that too, because like even my really good friends, I don't just call. And so you call people, they're like, what do you do? You know, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
So I just have to train my brain to make it sound, make it okay. And I'm just calling, hey, what's going on? And 9 times out of 10, a conversation about your life, they ask me questions and it just turns into real estate, and they ask you, how's real estate?
Yeah. Yeah, that was what you just said was brilliant. I want to, something I should have said earlier. This applies to social media, it applies to art, it applies to prospecting, and I think every skill-based thing you'll do in your life. The first many times you attempt something, you will suck at it. And we're going to do a role play, and this is going to be an amazing role play. I'm going to do it with Cash. This is actually one of my first prospecting calls. I can't do it word for word, but all you need to say is hello, okay? And then I've got it from there. This was actually how one of my first prospecting calls went. Okay, ring, ring. Hello, Brent. This is Cavan. So I'm a realtor now. I started at Keller Williams. This is a business call. I need to know if you know anyone who's gonna buy or sell a house. That was actually my call. And Brent was, I wouldn't say we were close friends. He knew me. And he was like, no, sorry. Poor guy. I was like, call them later. It's like, I'm sorry about that. I'm still learning how this crap works. But I feel like you have to get through those calls until you get to the comfortable calls. So my best advice is be human. And I want to offer a couple scripts. I do not like scripts that are cloak and daggery about things. I like being very transparent with clients. So a couple things you could consider is, hey, Brent, this is Joe. As you know, I'm a realtor, and this is kind of a word of mouth business. I'm trying to generate some business. So do you know anyone I should be talking to about real estate right now? That doesn't contribute much, but it's okay. It's clear, and you're treating him like a friggin' human being, right? Second one, Keller Splash is coming up. So, hey, Brent, this is Joe. Sorry for all these uhs, but you'll do them too, so it's fine. Hey, Brent, this is Joe. So as you know, I am a realtor, and our brokerage is doing an event called Keller Splash, where we've rented out 7 peaks, and we're just inviting everyone to come join us there. Would you be interested in joining us on whatever the time and date is? He'll say yes or no and say, thank you. By the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. So if you know anyone I should be talking to, I'd love to talk to them. That way you are literally contributing. Hey, do you want to come to this one?
Like those better because, you know, the reason why you're calling is to get referrals.
Yeah.
So right up front, and then they're not sitting there thinking, when is he gonna hold the punchline?
Oh, I hate that. When they call you like, how you doing, man? Good, but I know you didn't call to ask how I'm doing. So, and then pretty much anything with that, like the script I give it 27%. Hey, Brent, this is Joe. Home prices have risen 27% last year. I'm just talking to everyone. I don't think homeowners understand how much their homes are worth now. Would you like me to do a market analysis for you? So we can show you what your home would be worth if you sold it today. But another thing they told me in Ignite when I took it was they said, start your calls with, this is a business call. I don't actually do that anymore, but it does help. It helped me at first because that way I avoided the, how are you? And dancing around what I actually wanted to talk about because they smell that. They know what's going on. It's never going to be completely comfortable to make that phone call, but I promise it gets better. So.
These scripts and these examples, like your quarterly calls you go to people?
So my quarterly calls change based on the quarter. And so this one I'm doing the CMA calls. Next quarter, I haven't decided yet. I make it up as I go. But it might be an event invitation. I don't know. We'll see. Any other questions? Okay.
I like the change of Christmas. It could just be a, hey, how are you? Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a leader.
Yeah. And forward calls are okay too. I don't want to knock them too hard. It's rough. Like you actually said it already. If you have a forward call, so does anyone know what I mean by forward call? We've talked about that. Okay. If you do a forward call, it's very natural for them to say, how's business going with you? If they do not, let that fish off the line. It's like, how's your family? Oh, my wife just died. I'm really sorry to hear that. So buying a house. So it's very natural for them to ask how your work's going. And so just let it happen. And if it doesn't happen, it was a forward call. You still had a good contact with them. They probably know you're a realtor. Move on. I know I gave you a crappy answer to how to grow your database, but someone will help you. I would talk to Colby Kerr. He does a good job. Who do we have transplants, people from outside of Utah who have been successful after moving here? Because his question about growing your database, and that's not a skill I claim to be good at. Because when Jenna did it, it was mostly through circle prospecting and open houses. Is there an agent, you know, who does that at a high level that I could send cash to talk to?
Second one down on the very end in the middle. No. Wait.
Julie?
Yeah.
Julie Flower.
She's
good.
Is she a transplant?
I didn't know that.
I think so.
Julie Flower is one of the nicest people we ever meet. By the way, goodbye, Zoom. I love you, but I'm going to turn off the mic. Thanks for coming. Write me good reviews.